Welcome to Rockin the Arts with Cowboy and Friends.
Rockin the Arts is a show that will showcase various talents from the Hudson Valley area.
We have our co-host Mike Ferrara, and we want to welcome
Cowboy.
We want to welcome the lovely Niki Bisordi, a pastry chef.
Hi, Cowboy.
Would that be? I'm sorry, but would that be pastry chef des?
No.
No.
In French, I think it is.
In French it is,
something.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Nick, how
Yes.
long have you been making cakes and desserts?
I've been making cakes for probably about 9 or 10 years.
So who would you say was one of your greatest inspirations for making these cakes?
Well, I think just the love for food in general would be my grandmother. She taught me how to cook from the time I was this high, and nothing was ever written down. There were no recipes. It was following and what she did, and gave me the love and passion for food. And then I was able to infuse my creativity and put that together to be able to design cakes and desserts.
Your cakes are delicious, but they're also incredible edible works of art. And did you get the artistic end from your grandmother also?
No, she wasn't artistic, but my mom and dad are very artistic, and I think it's something that I was able to express differently, not on a piece of paper, but instead on a cake.
I was going to ask you too. I noticed you said cook, and you'd make that distinction between cooking and baking. Isn't there a distinction there? So
There is. One is the culinary side, and one is the pastry side. So a
And
lot
you
of
chose-
people. Actually, when I had applied for a job somewhere, I applied to be part of the culinary department, and they didn't have any job openings. So strangely enough, they decided to put me in the bakery, and that's where I was able to really blossom and then, work my way up to pastry chef.
And the love is definitely displayed in the way your cakes look and taste. I had a little bit this morning, so
I think
should
you
know
ate a whole cake this morning.
Well, I would have, but something stopped me. You eating the other 3/4 of it.
Nick,
but-
Yes.
these cakes, I've seen some of them quite tall.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to make one of these cakes?
Well, a typical wedding cake would probably be about 4 or 5 tiers high. So here behind us is a 2-tiered cake, just a very small cake that would probably feed about 25, 30 people,
Well,
unless
Mike,
it's YouTube.
Mike ate the top 3 tiers this morning.
I have to admit.
But no, the tallest, you had asked me the tallest cake
Yeah.
that I had done, probably about 6, 7 tiers high.
How do you get that in the oven? It doesn't fit, does it?
Nope, you need a really tall oven.
You need a very tall oven.
Yes.
I think
yes.
they bake them in tiers, no?
Right, you're going to bake them in regular cake
And then you
pans.
kinda
And then after
architect
you
'em.
flip them out, and then you have to layer them on top
Yeah,
of each other.
like an architect. I'm sure
That's
that
right.
there's design that goes with them
And
as well.
okay, how would you transport one of these cakes? That's a question.
Carefully, very carefully.
Well, you could use one of those, what do you call convertibles?
Yes, I have a
You
Mini
see-
Cooper, and it's unbelievable.
Do you really?
That's my
Really?
Mini Cooper.
How heavy might one of these cakes be?
Depending on the filling. So,
Depending on the filling.
If you fill it with lead, it might be...
Well, if you ever deliver one to a jail, right, and, for help somebody escape, that would be heavy because there might be a lead in there or
file.
Right, might be a
file.
file. there
Right,
might,
right.
Yeah, but we won't. That's a whole
An
other
hacksaw.
episode. That's a whole different episode.
That's a side business. We
Right,
don't talk
right.
about that.
Right. My
But
last
tell
name
us
is.
about the fillings that are
So
in the
different
cakes.
fillings. You could fill it anything from cannoli or different mousses and custards. And I would say, the cannoli would be pretty much the heaviest, or cream cheese filling. So it could weigh up to about 50 pounds.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. You eat one of those, Cowboy. Then we'll get on a scale and weigh.
Do you do different theme cakes?
I do. Everything from wedding cakes to bar and bat mitzvahs, sweet 16s, baptisms, any special occasion.
Speaking of cakes and religious cakes and different occasions, I always thought about the upside down cake. Now,
The
do
upside
you
down cake?
literally have to turn yourself upside down? Or what makes an upside down cake? I mean, I can't tell one from a right side up
How many
cake.
times do you turn it upside down? Does it come back up again?
You know what? I'll bring you guys into the kitchen one day, and I'll teach you some of the tricks of the trade. How's that sound?
Tricks of the trade. That sounds fine to me.
All right.
Isn't that something shades of gray, something about the kitchen is in that too, right? And so I'm looking forward to that. But I am interested in that upside down cake. Really, what's the distinction between an upside down and a right side up
Are
cake?
you talking about like a pineapple upside down cake?
Exactly.
Right. It's just the way that you bake it. It's has nothing to do with actually flipping it upside down when
Oh,
it's
really?
baking. Yeah.
So that's a misnomer,
It's a
as they would
misnomer.
say. Yeah.
Yes.
What would you say is one of the more fun cakes that you really enjoyed working on and had a lot of fun with it?
Well, I'd have to say the most fun is when I'm able to do cakes with fondant. And my favorite one would be the Dr. Seuss cake that I did for my daughter's Sweet 16.
Fondant, is that like Play-Doh?
It is. It's like, no, it is. It's like edible Play-Doh. It's made with sugar and
Oh,
cornstarch.
so you can eat that too?
Oh, yeah.
You mean like you can eat the cat that stole the hat? And,
Of course.
Oh, you'll be in your
Yeah.
element there.
Yeah.
Dr.
Sam,
Seuss-
I am.
Sam I am.
Who was your favorite Dr. Seuss?
I liked Snoopy, but I don't know that
No,
he was.
I don't think
he
was.
wasn't Dr.
No, no, no,
Seuss.
no.
I think I liked book-wise. I think I like one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. But
That's a good one.
I like the Cat in the Hat though. He was a crafty old dude, right?
Yeah. Well, when we do take a look at the cakes, that cake will come up, and I can show you the different characters.
Or being
on there.
Christmas time, the Grinch, right?
Right. That's right.
Right. So
Yeah.
have you done a Grinch?
Grinch was on that one as well.
Oh, really?
But I've done holiday cakes with a snowflake theme. I've done autumn with fondant, gum paste leaves, all sorts of things. You know, March Madness, New York Yankees.
Ah. Do people leave it up to you, or do they say, I specifically want this type of cake, or would they
They'll
say?
give me an idea. They'll let me know what their color scheme is, what their theme might be, and then we talk about if they want a cake that's round or square, if they want a sheet cake, how many people they need to feed, what kind of filling it is. So there's a lot involved
Yeah, who would
before you
think?
put it together.
So like if you want if I said I want a cake that looks like a scarecrow playing the guitar. Mm-hmm. Could you do that?
For you, $3,000.
That sounds like a yes.
There's a price for everything.
That's right.
But you do make certain cakes that take on different shapes, like you mentioned guitars. Do you do
Absolutely.
anything like that? Maybe bottles or shoes or anything like that?
Yep, I've done groom's cakes that one was actually a Scotch bottle, a 3D Scotch bottle.
What'd you
and-
do with the
It was,
scotch?
it was a rum cake, though, right?
Well, you get rid of the scotch first, and then you know. But no, really, people come up with some really, really interesting ideas. Harley Davidson, I've done things for my church. There's such a variety. Whatever you can imagine, I try to create
Harley
it.
Davidson for your church? What church do you go to?
A really cool one.
Yeah, right.
Did you ever actually drop one of those cakes after you put like hours of work into it?
I have never dropped a cake, but I have put a cake on a table that collapsed.
Really?
That was not secure.
Kind of like this chair.
How's this table?
So-
Speaking of... And what did you do? I mean, you have to start all over?
At that point, you
Did
have
you
a
get down,
client-
like, just save what was on top? I mean, what do you do?
You know, it's one of those where you have to really be able to think quickly and work well in a situation like that. And what we did is we put another cake together rather quickly. We still had about a half an hour time before the actual ceremony was going on, and my team and I worked together.
Really?
And the bride had no idea.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would think, though, all the planning and everything that goes in, how many people, sheet cake, round cake. When I say cake, I just want a piece.
Right.
Big one.
Right.
You know?
Well, maybe I'll let you try a piece later
Well,
after
I'm
we...
looking forward to
all
that.
right.
You ate the top half of the cake already. I'm sure you know how it is. Anyway,
And you know what I love, too, about weddings and wedding cakes? You know, there's always that bride feeds the groom, and the groom and the smashing the... Did you go through that, by the way, Cowboy? Did you
Yeah.
have the cake
Yeah.
smashed into your face?
my wife had a brick inside the piece she smashed in my face.
No, I think you still have a little bit left on here. You didn't wear that shirt that night, too, right?
You like the wedding cakes? You know, I really like the theme cakes. Those, I mean, it's amazing how... It's too bad you had to cut them up and eat them after you put all the work into
Yeah.
them.
Well, there is something else that you can do. It's called a faux cake. So what you actually do is people may it appear to be a real cake, but it's not. So if we look at some of my cakes, I can actually
Let's look
give
at
you
some
some
of
of
them.
my secrets.
Great,
Let's look
great.
at some of them.
All right, so this is the one I was talking about, the Dr. Seuss cake that I made
Oh, yeah.
for my
Oh,
daughter
wow.
Morgan. And that's actually not a real cake. It's made of styrofoam, and then you have a sheet cake in the back that you serve everyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you don't
Yeah.
bake a styrofoam cake now?
You don't bake the styrofoam. I
And you can't eat it
haven't learned
either.
how to do that yet.
Well, we haven't decided that yet. You can try to eat it.
Did you but you can if you wanted to
Absolutely.
make it, and it would be edible. And where's my little Grinch guy? I mean, my Cat in the Hat guy.
He's right there on the bottom. He's coming out of the box.
Yeah, somebody already ate his head
And
off.
what about this next cake?
This is a royal wedding cake
Oh my
that
God! Look at that thing.
How tall is that?
That's pretty tall. Yeah, that one took many, many, many hours to do.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and that again is a faux cake. That one I
Really?
want to keep that around for a while. It is. That one to me is really my favorite work of art. And then the next one here, this one's actually an edible cake I did for a birthday party. And it's obviously, you see round cakes, this is a square cake, and that's all Italian buttercream, all hand done in silver designs,
getting
and then all of the
hungry.
cascade of the roses coming down.
Buttercream, is that the icing?
Yes.
Or the filling?
It could be the filling, but usually it's the icing. There's American buttercream, French buttercream, and Italian buttercream.
What about? Did you ever make like one of them cannoli type filling cakes?
Yes.
I like those. Too.
Yeah.
Where would you put that in? I can ask for any kind of cake I wanted and
Of
ask
course.
for that filling?
Exactly.
Oh,
So
really?
say you want a chocolate cake with cannoli filling, or a lemon cake with raspberry mousse, or
And I just say yes to all those.
Yes.
We don't really.
so. Anyways, being in the fall season, this is the autumn cake
Wow.
here.
That's my favorite because
Right,
autumn
well-
is my
Yeah.
birthday, and it's colorful and
Yeah.
beautiful.
Those are real leaves. I mean, real edible
Those
leaves.
are edible leaves. Yes. Yep.
Well, Nick, how about you show us how to decorate a cake?
I would love to.
Oh
That'd be
yes.
great.
Can
All right.
we eat it after we're finished decorating it?
Of course.
Well then, let's do it.
All righty.
Hey, welcome back to Rockin the Arts with Niki Bisordi.
Hello, hello.
So-
So what are we going to do now, Greg?
Nick, you're going to show us how to decorate this
I
cake, right?
am. But first, what I would like to do is, unfortunately, I only have one chef's hat.
Oh,
Oh,
that's for
cool.
me then.
No, no.
I'll
All right.
take it.
You
if don't
take
mind.
it. We could use
Because
something to cut the glare a little bit.
Well, cut the glare.
Oh,
Well,
all
that's
right.
okay, and it will make me taller.
That's
Well,
yes, it will.
Thank
That's not
you,
right that you have a milk
Nikki.
box you're standing
There
on.
you go.
Oh, you are taller.
Yes.
Chef Mike.
Thank you very much.
All right, so what
Yeah.
I have here is a two-tiered cake, and it's already been iced and secured. So this is on a turntable, and this is the easiest way to decorate. So you don't have to move your body around, you're moving the cake around. So there are some basic designs that are good to know for cake decorating, and one of them would be with the star tip here. There are different types of tips. This is a star tip, and it is called just a shell border. So it's just basically you're making it look like a shell. So that's the way that is, like that.
Wow, well, how easy that looked.
I have a question, if
Yes.
you don't mind, and I am the chef here, second chef. How does that taste, I wonder?
It tastes delicious. This is Italian buttercream.
You made this too?
Of course. So this is made
Oh my
with.
God. Okay, that's all for the show, folks. It's time to
Clean mustache.
Really?
It
Well,
is, it
Doesn't
is.
it blend in?
It kind of does.
Got a little something over here.
Well, you're so. Thank you. And may I return the favor?
No.
All right, so this is a regular shell border, and then there's another design called a reverse shell. So you're doing the same idea. You do this way, and then you just go opposite, like such.
Are you lefty or righty?
I am righty.
Because lefties were easy to cheat on in school because they had to turn the paper that way, and I saw you that way. It almost looked like a lefty righter. But
Yeah, so then that's a reverse shell. So this is what you call a star tip. So would either of you gentlemen like to try that design?
Well, since I'm wearing the hat,
We'll
let Cowboy
we'll let
try.
Greg do.
Yes.
Okay. So it's just a matter of putting the proper pressure on the bag.
Do you want the reverse or the?
So let's
at
start with
him.
the simple
He's
one
good.
first. So you want to hold it up here with one hand so the buttercream doesn't come out, and then squeeze with the other hand
Awesome.
down here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Look at him. Cowboy is great. You knew that we were going to get some. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. Keep your day job, Greg.
Well, and this is from an artist, and he doesn't make cakes, though.
You know
No,
what?
but it is. It's something you get used to.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's
It's
the
a control.
pressure. It's control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a different tip. This is called the coupler here, which makes it easy to change tips without having to use another bag. So you're actually
And you could do
saving.
different colors. And
Yep, you could do different colors, which I'm going to show you next. So now I just have a regular tip. And of course, technically they all have different sizes. This is probably a number 5 tip. And this one on wedding cakes you see a lot of, which is going to be just pearls. So again, it's about the pressure. You build up your pearl, and you're going along all the way around the cake, like such. See?
A string of pearls.
Right, so it'd be a string of pearls all the way around the cake.
You know, I I pinstriped. A guy wanted me to pinstripe a prototype of a bowl, and that's all I did was I put it on a thing and I spun it and they
Really?
touched it and they made a nice pinch.
So you're going to use
Look at
this
you,
hand.
Mr.
Oh,
Are
I
you
got to squeeze with the
lefty?
left?
Yeah.
Well, I'm ambidextrous, as I say.
You're ambidextrous. So what I want you to do is I want you to hold it like this. Here, let go. So you're going to use your right hand for the bottom.
Okay.
If you're
And
righty.
that's what I squeeze?
And you squeeze with the top hand, yeah.
Okay.
So then just hold it a little tight. Give yourself a nice position.
Oh, yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
Hold it. Let me finish.
You,
and
you,
thank you.
You found
Look
a
at
new.
that.
Nice.
I call that my my pearl look, or
Yeah.
All right, so now what
the
I
little
also...
ball look, as they say.
What I did, gentlemen, is I took pink buttercream, and this one has a tip that we use to make roses with. And with the roses, you use a special tool. It's called the nail, the flower nail. And I'm going to show you how to make roses with this one.
Is that food coloring that makes that?
It is.
pink?
You make food, just edible
You
food
want to taste
coloring.
that one too?
It's gonna taste the same.
Nick,
It's just a different color.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have another pair of these? I really.
What do you need them for?
I
All right. Anyways, I'm going to continue while they argue like little boys. So we're going to do a rose, okay? And a rose, what you do in the middle is you just start with just a nice little chunk to build it up, and then you're going to go around. It's 1, 2,
She makes that look too easy, though, right?
3,
I don't know. Well, she's been doing it a long time.
and then you make the petals. So the thing with roses is that
this.
everything is in threes or in odds. So you go 3, then 5, and then if you want to do another layer, you would do
Wow.
7.
Can we get a close up on that a little bit?
I like that in my lapel.
It's not my favorite rose. It was a quickie, but so then you have a
Oh,
rose.
okay.
Look at that.
That's
See?
great. Yeah.
And then if you guys would like to try, this is a little bit harder, but
Try a rose.
I want to try it for
all right.
real.
So Greg, what you're going to do first is you're just going to build up the middle like this, and then you're going to take your hand and make a circle going around. So usually 3 or 4. Just think about the center of a rose and how it's really tiny like that.
Can I work with that one?
Sure you can. So then you're going to do the petals around it. All right, and while you're doing that, I'm going to show, have Mike do maybe some of the leaves. So this is a certain type of leaf tip here. There are many different kinds of them, and they just do different sizes. So this is nice. You just are going to pull it out like that to make leaves. So you can finish the
Well,
rest
thank
of the
you.
flower.
Yes.
That's not bad, Greg.
Do I do another row on top of that or behind it?
Well, think about the way a rose is.
I
The
don't
petals.
see any thorns.
No thorns. No, we're not going to do thorns. So that looks more like a dandelion, but that's okay.
But I wanted a dandelion too.
All right, that's what I thought. So then to take it off, what you do is scissors are the best thing to use. So you just
Where'd
take
that
the
green come
scissors,
from?
That's the leaf.
That's beautiful.
and there is Greg's rose.
Put the green on there.
Is that a rose? You must have been great at the beach with the
Here,
stand
Greg.
castles.
Now you're going to do your leaves around it, okay? So this one doesn't take as much. It's not as hard. You're just going to pull it out and make little leaf shapes, okay?
Can I tip it a little to me?
Sure. And then I'm going to put the star tip back on and just finish doing the border around the cake so it looks a little more complete.
Well, that almost looks like a rose, really. It looks like a rose after like 5 days and it's been in a book, you know?
Yes, it's
right.
been preserved.
Yes. Well, he's really into it, though. Look at him.
I like this.
Good.
I'm gonna go into business.
With who? Not me. All right, can I turn the cake, Greg? Are you done?
Sure.
All right, so I'm just going to finish
It looks
doing-
like one of them those plants that eat meat. What do you call those? Dragon fly traps?
Venus flytrap.
Venus
Like,
So I'm just finishing the reverse shell on here.
Look at this.
Okay. And this, you would see this design more for something like a birthday type of celebration. Wedding cakes are normally a little, I want to say less fluffy, except when you were doing it in the 80s or something like that, you know.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Would you use? You ate this whole cake. Would you use the same type of tip? Like, can you write on a cake?
Of course.
Do you have a tip to do that?
I do, but we're going to have to write in white because the tip here, I don't have any
I don't
couplers
think
in
they're gonna
these.
see it anyway. But can you write his name? Do you know how to spell Chubby?
Ha ha ha. Oh, you guys. All right, so there we go. We have this design, and then I'm going to switch over. We'll write We'll do a little writing, and then I'll just show you a quick design.
Meanwhile, I'm eating all the buttercream here, and it's
Good.
delicious.
So let's say here's a design that you might see on a cake. This would be like a swirl design, and then you can give it a couple of back swishes to make it, you know, a little decorative. You
It
can
looks
do
like
dots.
lace or something.
Yep. So see.
Oh, that's great.
That
Yeah.
is really.
And of course, if you had another tip for the colored ones, you can do that in color.
Right. Absolutely.
I could probably.
This is a dotted Swiss. This design here is a dotted Swiss. There's lace designs, which you actually would. It's very simple. You just kind of wiggle it back and forth like this. You know.
Cowboy's still working on that rose.
Is he? Yeah.
Now,
How's it coming out?
you're the expert.
Not bad. All right, so you extended it down. Yeah, and the nice thing, this is your palette. This is the freedom you have to work with. It's like a blank canvas, I should say. And whatever your design is that you have in your mind, and just like erasing, you would take your bench scraper if you made a mistake, and you just scrape it off.
Oh, look
Well,
at
you
that.
might want
And then
to
you
start on this rose on the top here to scrape those. But I did want to ask you a question. Before
Yes.
you spoke about styrofoam cakes as well.
Yes.
So how do you decorate those?
Those, what you want to do is you want to wrap them in fondant. You can't really do buttercream, but there is a fake buttercream that you can use. A lot of times you see cakes in window displays in bakeries. Those are not edible at all, but it looks like buttercream,
Right.
but it can withstand, you know, sitting
It gets
out.
hard after a while, right? 'Cause
Right.
I
Right.
seen one and it felt like brick, and I was like,
So it was hard for you to eat then,
That'll
right?
hurt you.
Would you microwave it? Believe me, he found a way to eat it.
okay,
Believe
can I
me.
get a little
So-
something here?
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you again.
Mike, would you like to
You're
try
so
and do
talented.
some type of
I-
design like this?
Can you write
I
chubby
would.
on there?
You know, just
I would like
pretend-
to try to make a design. if you
Okay,
don't mind.
maybe
Thank
even
you.
on the top, if
On the
that works
top.
better for you.
It does.
And just do...
Because I'm tall enough now to see over the top.
So
Okay.
just make like an S or like the number 6. Those are the best ways to start. And it gives you that idea of, you know, the way to move your hand. Uh-oh. What do we got here? And I think he's trying to write something in secret code. I'm not
It's supposed
sure.
to be an X, an S, a 6, and then an upside down 6, which is a 9.
Okay.
But it didn't.
And what does
come
that
out.
mean? It's a
He
design.
was just, nope, that's him trying to work
No,
on
actually,
his...
I'm playing tic-tac-toe, and I think I
You
just
keep
about
playing,
won.
but I got a better idea. Nick,
What's that,
I think
Greg?
it's about time we taste this work of art.
All right, you ready to do that?
Oh, I'm more than ready to do that.
All right, so let me put our last flower on here. All right, move this to the side. Now, this again, you know, this is just some different ideas, but, you know, if you guys would like to learn more, you can always come and join me, and we could do cake together.
Sure. Can I bring a bottle of wine?
Oh, you have to bring a
The
bottle of
lovely
wine.
Niki.
All right, so here's our piece of cake. And who's going to taste it?
Oops. Cowboy, you're not going to start feeding me.
Now,
I
this is
hear the
the-
bride feeds the groom here. You're
No,
not going
but
to start feeding me.
I have an
please.
idea.
What?
I'm going to do a puppet show.
Oh, thank you.
Do a puppet show? Here, Mike, I'll feed you.
Oh, thank you.
Delicious?
Yes,
Oh,
and it's
yes.
nice and moist.
Yep.
Really? Mm-hmm. Nikki, beautiful
stuff,
and
right?
talented. Goodness.
And
All right, I'll keep my day job then, too.
Absolutely.
really good. Nick, we want to thank you for coming and giving us a great little learning experience today.
My
and I had a
pleasure.
lot of fun. Can I get that green one again?
Uh-oh, I'm afraid.
I'm very afraid.
Yeah.
Can I run away or what?
We got
Oh, Nikki, that's delicious.
Isn't that good?
Really,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
So
that's
moist.
half of it is, you know, it's nice to look at a cake and say, oh, it's beautiful, what a beautiful design. But if you don't have a good tasting cake, then
You got a good point there.
you really, you know.
So what, do you want for a wedding, would you rather have a better looking cake or a better tasting cake?
A better tasting cake.
better
Any
tasting
day,
cake.
yes.
Yep. And what do you
A
like,
good-looking
Mike?
bride and a
Oh, there
tasting
you
cake.
go.
That's what I'm
That's
settling
cool
for.
to have too, a good looking bride.
And with Nikki, you get both. So, what are you writing there?
Chubby.
They say the third time. They say the third time is a charm, right?
I don't know, Nikki. I've
Yeah.
been there 3
Oh
times.
boy, you're over the limit, Mike. You're over the limit.
But really, this is delicious. How do you keep it so moist?
Well, you want to bake it, you know, not too far in advance. But when you do high volume cakes like I do, you're actually baking
This one
about
doesn't
5
smell,
days ahead of
smell it,
time.
Smell
Of
Yeah.
course, I fell for it.
Yes, of
Thank
course
you.
did.
Oh, thank you very
So
much.
like 5 days ahead of time, but you want to keep it wrapped and keep it in a very appropriate temperature.
So
which
that
would
easy
be in the refrigerator.
that easy bake oven I have, you wouldn't recommend then for
Definitely
no,
not.
huh?
Definitely
But
not.
I think she made this one for you with this hacksaw inside.
In
Okay.
case I ever get in any trouble. Right?
Here's a question:
is
How
good.
long do people have to order in advance to get one of these elaborate cakes?
Usually I ask for 2 weeks in advance. That gives me time for us to go over the design, how many people they're having, what flavors they want,
Great.
and all of
I have
that.
another
So,
question.
yes.
Do you base the number of tiers on how many people, or like how many people would this feed?
That's
if
a-
Mike wasn't in the equation.
That's a really good question.
One, I think, right about now.
That's a good question. Normally what you do is you would have on display a 4 or 5 tiered cake, and that could feed up to about 150 people. And then if you have any more than that, you would put a sheet cake in the back in the kitchen, and you would slice that up, unless your client wants that entire cake to feed everybody in one shot. So the more people, obviously, the larger the cake.
Well, thank you, Nikki. This was informative, delicious.
Oh, I'm
and
so
I gained a
glad.
few pounds. I only got a few more to catch up to you.
Oh, my
And thank you for
goodness.
wiping my nose. It was a real treat today.
All right.
This is great.
So maybe, Greg, if you will have me another time, we could talk about fondant, if you'd like to. We could do like maybe a second part 2, and we can roll some fondant out, and I can show you some of the artwork with that.
That sounds great.
Sounds good?
Stay tuned. We'll see Nikki again sometime.
All righty. Thanks,
If
boys.
it's edible, I'll be here.
Okay.
Thank you, and thank you, Mike, and thanks again,
He's-
Niki Bisordi.
Hey, you
Well,
like
well,
what
let's-
you like.
That's right. You can take that home with you.
This is really good. Thank
Good,
you.
good, good, good.
Good job.
Thank you. Good job. Nice seeing you too, Miss Bisordi.
Yes,
Lovely
always
Miss
a
Bisordi.
pleasure.